if you're building products at any scale, whether it's small scale or large scale, it's really important to make decisions based on actual evidence. And that evidence can come in the form of hypothesis-driven practices at the business level, at the value level, or it can come all the way down to flow metrics at the delivery level. And that's one thing that I would probably say Azure DevOps is a little bit rudimentary in that space out of the box, but we can absolutely get those things and augment those things. So one of the fundamental understandings that I've gained over many years of building software and helping teams build software is without visibility, you can't see what's going on. And without being able to see what's going on, you can't make effective changes. And you also can't see the impact and effect of those changes on the way that you work. So we need telemetry. We need data. There's some of that telemetry comes from your product, right? Building open telemetry into your product, collecting specific and deliberate telemetry from your product. But we can also use telemetry on the way that we work. And Azure DevOps is a fantastic system for gathering that telemetry. So in Azure DevOps, every value of every variable that ever was inside of your work items is collected and stored. Okay, so it doesn't matter what field it is. If you add a custom field, no problem. The full history of that field is available within the context. So that allows you to pull and collect any sort of data you like in any way you like. Okay, that's the powerful part, right? All of that data is there. The visualizations that are built into Azure DevOps, they're a little bit rudimentary, but that's fundamentally Microsoft's premise, right? Microsoft's premise is we're not going to build everything for you. We're going to build the data layer, the API layer, and then we'll build some examples of here's what you can do with that data that meet the table stakes. We'll build the table stakes, and then let partners build the value adds that are specific to your organization. So I work with customers that have a large internal ecosystem of custom boards, controls, dashboards that they build internally and ship around the organization. So they have an engineering team who builds augmentations for Azure DevOps. They support other teams who build augmentations for themselves in Azure DevOps and allow those to be shared across the organization. And Azure DevOps has capabilities for that as well, right? That's for people that are really big. If you're really big, you can absolutely do that. If you're really small, you don't want to have to do that. You want some vendor to do that for you, and you absolutely have that capability. So there's a couple of things that you can do within the context of Azure DevOps. So out of the box, it does have lead time and cycle time, okay? And there's a little bit of work in process. So at the top of your columns on your boards, the board, I guess they're called Kanban boards, right? But they're not really, they're just boards. On the top of the boards, they have a WIP limit. It is not enforced. It will just go red if you go over the limit, and the limit is for each column. They don't have a system limit, right? So that's a limitation. They don't have a system limit, just the limit for each column. You can add cycle time and lead time to the dashboards, and it will give you a hover over view of your average, just the average cycle time and lead time. I don't like the average. I like the 85th percentile, and it should have all of them, but it doesn't. So that's what I mean by sometimes it's a little bit basic and rudimentary. It's opinionated. They pick one thing. So they have that, but you can hover over individual items and see where they are. And then they have a cumulative flow, right? Which is, again, straightforward, just visualizes the cumulative flow. That's out of the box. You get that for free. Microsoft is opinionated on when work items start and when work items finish. That's beyond the scope of this, but we can definitely talk about that in another video. But there are all of that data that they use to make that is stored in the system. So you can access the APIs and access the Power BI, the analytics, so everything can be loaded into Power BI, and build whatever graphs you want, right? So that's one. But if you're small enough, you don't want to build it yourself. I recommend there's two tools that I definitely recommend taking a look at. One is called FlowViz, and that's effectively some pre-built Power BI reports that you can load in to your Power BI environment. It connects to Azure DevOps and pulls your data and displays all of the cool stuff, and it's free, right? FlowViz gives you that capability. Great. Go try it out, download it, install it. The other one is ActionableAgile metrics for predictability. So ActionableAgile is a plugin, an interactive JavaScript-based, no data goes anywhere but your system plugin, but it's $20 per user per month. I recommend that one too. That's what I use because I just want an easy visual indication that I can just add a plugin to Azure DevOps and go spelunk people's data. So both of those tools give you much more accurate is probably the wrong word, but much better, much more features, many more features for lead time, cycle time, for percentiles, for seeing your work in process, seeing your flow. I particularly like in ActionableAgile, it has a view which is work in progress, and you can see the overlay of your percentiles on your work in process. So you can see the things that are which are most likely to be in danger within that context. So using Azure DevOps, you get access to all of the data and some visualizations. Then bringing in some third-party tools. On top of that, you can make it really light up and create any sort of data visualizations you want. If you're a coder, Ben Day also has, I think it's called the Azure DevOps admin tools. He has a little command line toolkit that you can run that will get you most of the data as well, give you your cycle time, lead time, build your graphs, all of those things from the command line. So if you're a developer, you can use that, but it's not as friendly for everybody else that might be using the system. So if with all of these options, it can be a little bit difficult to navigate. So if you're ready to move from making decisions based on gut feel to more of a data-driven delivery story, give me a call and let's make your work visible.